Good evening, friends. So, I hope you all are able to see me. So, Satej, you let me know once you can message here once we are all set to go. Hi, Satej. So, good evening, Sunil Patil ji. Namaskar, sir ji. Okay, Satej ji is saying video is perfect. Excellent. So, I hope I am audible also. Namaskar, Praveen Patil sir ji. So nice to see you here. चला म्हणजे सगळे मराठी शिलेदार, सगळे सरदार, सगळे सायकलिस्ट, सगळे भरावर पहिल्यांदा आलेले आहेत. सो लेट्स सी, लेट्स होप पीपल रिमेंबर टू जॉइन इन नाव. So Satej, I think once you think I should start my speech, just send a message. Okay, participants are still joining. Excellent. Okay, till then, cheers. Of course, I'm just having coffee. I hope you all also have some coffee mugs. I'm not able to send you on virtually online. Sanjay Shende ji, namaskar. So nice to see you here. Oh, there comes K2K Queen Pratibha Dhakne ji. Lovely. Saikia ji, namaste sir ji. So how are you feeling? All of you, all of us are so enthusiastic. You all must also be, you all must be missing, so much of cycling that we all do. Now, this is just a question, Satej. I am seeing the messages going on the screen, but I hope they don't block your view. Are the messages blocking? Are the messages on my screen block your view too? I hope not. I think I'll have to. I normally don't like to put on my specs, but maybe just to read the text, I'll have to put on my specs. Okay. So the messages don't. The messages on my screen are only visible to me. Sorry for this question, because FB Live I have always heard of people, but today is such a nice occasion. सतेज नाजरे जी ने मुझे आज यहाँ इनवाइट करके आप सब लोगों से मुलाकात करवाई है वर्चुअली. तो ये मेरा पहला ऐसा बड़ा FB लाइव है. उसके पहले भी एक हुआ था, सुप्रतिम पाल जी ने एक किया था उनके स्टाइल में, एक 15 मिनट का. बट आई थिंक टुडे सतेज हैज गिवन अस अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. ओके, great. So okay, Mohan Karpeji is waving. Okay, so Satej, just post a message, and till then probably I'll just share a few whereabouts of here, or maybe I can start a little bit of my background, and then we'll go on to the cycling specific things. So by the time other people would join and they won't miss. Okay, so essentially I am a mechanical engineer, born and brought up in Pune, and till about, I would say, till about 1991, 92, I was in Pune only, and then after doing engineering by 1985, I started working as a mechanical engineer, worked for about around 6 years in a production company, production and manufacturing, 3 shifts. In the same tenure, I also worked as a design engineer later on. After 1990, after 1992, I moved to Mumbai and spent almost about 12 years in Mumbai. And so that's where I was working in CAD/CAM technologies, and then out of 12 years in Mumbai, for 6 years I had my own business there, selling and supporting a few CAD/CAM softwares. I was also a corporate trainer. So corporate training has always been my forte, and and I still do it. So between 90 and 92 and 2004, I was in Mumbai, and then I came back to Pune for family reasons. And then I was in an IT company, the then Satyam, which is now Tech Mahindra. And so till about 2007, 2005 to be precise, I was in Pune. And then 2 years I went to Europe. And I think there was a pretty big gap in my cycling, which means I would have stopped cycling, say around 1989-90, and especially after I went to Mumbai, I still carried my cycle there. In fact, you won't believe, out of my pensions for geared bikes that time, I had bought one cycle which was then available as a low-cost option. You won't believe, the new 10-gear Atlas Pro 10. This bike was from Atlas company, Atlas Pro 10, which was a dropped handlebar. And I think, let me show on the model here. I think I didn't introduce these buddies here, because it's slightly odd, isn't it, that I'm talking to you today not sitting on a cycle, or at least sitting on a charpaiya, as all my snaps I do when I am on the rides outside, and I'm sitting at my home because of lockdown. So these models have been gifted to me. This one, the metallic one, what you see, maybe a little closer view. So these is typically wired models you get in all these gift shops. So one of my friends in Indore had given me this. So let me presume this was my bike in school days, the steel frame bike in school days. Okay, and this one was gifted to me when I did my Nashik ride. Pune to Nasik within one day. That was my longest ride in one day in 2017, and I was invited to participate in their Postman rally, and this I actually did that. It was dedicated to the then president of NCF, Jaspal Virdiji, who had expired, and unfortunately I could not meet him. So this ride was dedicated to him. So the NCF team invited me for the function there, and this is what they gifted me. So when I explain about the gear bikes, I'm going to use this model. And now let's start with this one. Okay. So what I was telling you about the Atlas Pro 10, which I took to Mumbai in 1993. Unfortunately, that bike was collecting dust in Mumbai, and it had a dropped handlebar. It was excellent bike, thin rims. Okay, very good model, which I bought about 1,800 rupees then, which means in those days, the normal Atlas, what we call as Dudhwala Black Horse bike, was available for about 1,000, no, not even 1,000, In those days, it could be about 600, 700 rupees, maybe 800. And this Atlas Pro 10 was 2000. They gave me discount of 200, 1800 rupees. I had bought that. It had the gears here. At this portion, there were two gear levers, like these levers, and you have to move it like this, which was a bit clumsy. But anyway, the racer bikes in those days had those kind of gears, and but unfortunately, because of my commitments in Mumbai and the rush hours in Mumbai and the sweat, I wasn't used to Mumbai sweat when I went there. So somehow, ultimately, that cycle collected dust. It was rusted, and ultimately, I had to just donate it to somebody later on after 5 years. Okay, so now let's go ahead. Okay. Let's not go back too much into history too long, because I think it's about 35 years of working experience for me. And I would say I restarted cycling when I was in Europe. In 2005, I was in Europe, and that was for my, through the company Tech Mahindra. I had been there. For 1 year, I was near London, about 65 miles south of London. Is a place called Hampshire, Basingstoke. And, such a good environment. And I just got a second-hand bike, a normal bike, not a geared one. I just bought a second-hand normal bike. Nice cool weather, because I went there in December. So about February, I bought this bike. And I started going around places there. Not very long, but just to go and do some grocery shopping and all that. So that's where I restarted. So to be precise, there was a gap of about 22 years, more than that. And then I started there. Then I had an opportunity of another geared bike which came for a sale in a nearby block, because I used to inquire keenly, anybody wants to sell, etc. Luckily, I got one bike cheap, and it was a gear bike. Now, that was my first experience of using a gear bike, and those gears were on the handle. So, like some of you may be using, you have two types of gears now. You have one which is a rotating type here, and one which is a lever. Okay, so that bike had those rotary types, and again they were not very good, but I learned to use gears there. Let me also share what the problems I had when I restarted. I had a lot of back pain problem and lower back problem because of my height, and that was a problem carried forward from my school days. So in the UK, when I started, the first day when I started to just hop like this, so on this bike as school kid, with a normal habit, I just took it ahead as we do hopping, and then I try to put my right leg on the other side, and I realized that I think there was a great inertia, and there was a solid back pain, and I could not do that. So fine, I said maybe. I was 42 years, maybe young that time, but I realized that I had a lot of inertia developed, flexibility had reduced, and then probably I just tilted the bike quite like this and went on that. That day somehow I lost my sleep. That look, I am just 42, and I was not able to hop on the bike the way I used till I left cycling. So slowly I started, and in the UK I went not more than 10-15 kilometers, of course, because there were highways nearby, and there were cycle tracks, so I tried to explore that. But later on, after 1 year, I was posted in Germany. I was in Frankfurt, and near Frankfurt again, I immediately right in the first month itself, I went to used shops, and I got a used bike there also. It was again a geared one. I think Trek. That was the first time I saw that bike, and I started using it. But again, there, barring about 3-4 occasions on a weekend, when they had some kind of round and round kind of events, in a sense that they have a cycle track, and on which just like your BRM, but it's more of a fun. There is no race there. So on a Sunday, what they do is on some dedicated cycle tracks, they have kept stamps at certain locations. And for example, in a track of about 15-20 kilometers, there may be a couple of gardens, or there may be a post office or a post box somewhere, and they keep a stamp there. And the paper that they give you at the starting point, they just tell you that, look, on this track, the track map is given to you, and on that you will just find some places, 4 or 5 places designated. When you follow this map, you will find those stamps. Just put it on your paper, and then go to the last point, and then they give some goodies and something like that. So I did that for 2-3 times. One other thing, one great experience in Europe I had was, I was never used to carry a cycle on a train. And in Germany, not all trains, but certain trains allow that. You can carry your bike. And in London also, they allow that. So that was way back in 2007, 2006 and 7. Okay. Now, when I came back, family reasons, my mom wasn't keeping well, so I thought I should come back now. And I came back. So end of 2000, December time, I think I saw some reconnection. Okay. I hope, Satej, am I visible? Not sure. Just post a message if I am visible. Because it just showed some reconnection message to me. Okay. Okay, yeah, guys are waving so they can see me. All right, so what I was, sorry, I lost my link. So what I was telling you, that when I came back, end of 2007, I had my office, my home was near SNDT College on Karve Road, just 1 kilometer ahead of Null Stop. And my office was at Maria Gate, which is on the old Mumbai-Pune highway, which is just about a couple of kilometers ahead of Shivaji Nagar. So it's about 9-10 kilometers worth of distance for me. So I decided I'll buy a cycle. So I went to Fadkehout Chowk, the famous cycling spot, and I bought for 2,500 rupees. I bought a normal school time, what we call as Kala Ghoda bike. The only difference was that the handle wasn't like this, the Kala Ghoda. It was like the normal straight handlebar, what you now get for a hybrid bike, and non-gear, AX and DX. Okay. When I bought that bike, the person there told me that, look, you're tall, and this bike will be good for you, and it's very rugged, thick pipes and stuff like that. Well, that was nice. I started going to office. So my cycle to work actually had started in Britain itself, and sometimes in Frankfurt also, but the office location in Frankfurt was slightly away. Not Frankfurt, it was in a different place, and that was slightly away, and I did not venture cycle there because some highways used to come in between, and I was a bit wary of going there. But in UK, yes, my office was right just within 4 kilometers from my place, and no highways in between. So I started cycle to work there. So back in Pune, with this AX and DX, I started cycle to work, used it for about 7-8 months. Now, one fine evening, you won't believe, I had gone to hear a kirtan, a nice kirtan, at a place called Bharatanatyam Mandir, which is right in the heart of Pune. I parked it outside, locked it well, and I was so engrossed in the kirtan. When I came out, the bike wasn't there. So the new bike, just a minute here. Can you give me your old phone, because I can't see the time. I want your old phone. Okay. So just to keep track of time, I'm just, okay, it's how much time? I'm not able to see the time on this thing now. Okay. So and the bike was gone. So that such a nice new bike, which I rode to Alandi once or twice, which within about 6-7 months, I'm saying, which I rode to even Dehu twice. And during the Kirtan, I was so engrossed, and the thieves liked it very much, and they lifted it up. So that was the first bike theft for me. So I then went again after 1 month, bought a bike, because by the time my son was into 7th, 8th standard, and he wanted a bike. So I again bought a bike, which is still there outside. Sometimes you would have seen my photos on the Facebook, and I have taken it to places in Pilani, wherever in Bits Pilani that I am right now, in Rajasthan, which is 250 kilometers north of Jaipur, for those who don't know where Pilani is. So I use it as my town bike. I still use that. So that 7th standard son's bike, which I bought after this bike theft of AX and DX, which was year 2008 or 9, 8, yeah, precisely 8, or beginning of 9, I forgot that. So that's how it was, and I was using that. Then I said, no, I want a new bike for me now. So I went again and bought what is called Hero Hawk, and I actually wanted to go for that Mark 10, okay, and but that time it wasn't available. I went for Hero Hawk. I bought that Hero Hawk, and that was the time, I would say in 2010 and 11, it started. I started my real cycling. Apart from cycle to work, most long distance areas within Pune city I started going about, until the time came when it came to my 50th birthday, which was 5 years ago. Okay, so on my 50th birthday in the month of November 5 years ago, I decided that, look, it's enough. I should, apart from cycle to work and all this and that, I must now do at least, if I am completing 50 years today, let me do 100 kilometers. Okay. तो सेंचुरी का जो एक बग होता है, वो कीड़ा जो होता है, I think it bit me that day. So after lunch, I started. So I decided, let me go to the Ganpati temple, one of the Ashtavinayak, and I started cycling after 2 o'clock, 2:30 to be precise, from Kothurud. And I reached that Ranjangaon on Hero Hawk in just about maybe 3.5, 4 hours, 3.5 perhaps, 3.5 hours. And I just went, prayed there. I wasn't sure whether I'll be back on the same day, whether I'll have that stamina. So I had informed my family that, look, I may come back tomorrow morning. But then I was fine. So it was 6:30. I was in dilemma. It was dark already, that being a winter evening. So you know what? I was so ill prepared, and not even a helmet. No, of course the reflector was there. No lights with me. Nothing. Okay. Because that was the very beginning phase of the so-called long distance cycling, even up to 50, 60 kilometers. So from those shops outside of that Ganpati temple, the gift shops there, I bought 3 torches with handkerchiefs. I bought 2 handkerchiefs also. I put 2. Okay, I think it had a little reconnection. Okay, I hope I am visible. So I put 1 torch here, another torch on the left of the handle, and 1 torch. I had a cap, of course. So on the back side of the cap, I just attached that. So perhaps maybe in the darkness, the dangling light on my back on here somewhere, probably people should notice. So with these kind of 3 lights, I came back to Pune by about another 3.5, 4 hours. Around 10:30, 11, I was back home. That was my first century ride, so to say, on that 50th birthday. Then, I decided that enough of corporation limits. Let's get out of it now. So I decided to, go to Mahabaleshwar. But, those 2-3 months, I did not do that. Okay. And another 4-5 months went, then the summer came in. And then in winter, I'm sorry, in monsoon, बड़ा बारिश हो रहा था उसी year, the same year, in the mid-June itself, a lot of rains had started. So in the first week of July, I decided to go to Mahabaleshwar straight away on Hero Hawk. Again, very ill-prepared, and ill-prepared in the sense, not even a air pump with me. I never thought of that. I said, come on, Mahabaleshwar is what? You just, go on the highway, there are a lot of shops, and then on the highway, you will take a right at that Surur Fata, as they call, and then again, till Wai, you have, some movement there. So, Ram Bharose, chalo aage. So, I started, and again, I had started in the evening, I think, and evening or afternoon, okay, thinking to make it a 2-day thing, because I wasn't sure whether I could reach Mahabaleshwar right in 1 day. So I started from Pune, reached Wai, okay, and then perhaps late evening I reached Wai. So I thought maybe I'll just hold there for night. So just in a nearby lodge there, I told them I have come on a cycle that way, not a very seasoned cyclist as such. तो उन्होंने पूछा कितने लोग हैं आपके साथ? मैं मतलब नहीं, मी एकटा है. I don't have anybody. So they said it was almost 10:30 after my dinner. So they said fine, don't worry, come, we'll give you a bed. So they even offered to give me even without charge, but well, I told them not to worry. I would be able to afford some small expense there. So I stayed that day night, and next day 5:30 I started to climb that Pasarni Ghat, Pachgani. Now that was quite tough on Hero Hawk. So most of the initial distance, out of enthusiasm, the morning enthusiasm, I went very well, but then soon I was exhausted, and then I started walking a bit. So for next some time I was like cycling a little bit, hop on it, go on the slope, and then just within 200 meters again hop down. So ये ऐसा थोड़ा cycling थोड़ा walking का सिलसिला करते करते probably I would have completed about 50-60% of the ghat. Then there is a small plateau in Pasarni. There is some place where there is a little respite. You get a little flat, not very flat, but compared to a very deep slope, it's not as deep in certain place. So that's where I rested a bit, and then I kept going ahead. But then I kept asking myself that, okay, if I have to go 2 such ghats in a day or 3 such ghats in a day, will I be able to do it? And then while I was walking, after tiredness in that ghat, I asked myself a question that should I not go for a gear bike? Now, to be frank with you guys, between 2008, end of 2007, but let's say 2008, between 2008 to 2015, there were times when I thought, should I buy a gear bike? But then gear bike is very expensive, and why do you need gear if you're only in Pune, etc. So I never bought that. And then one thing I had seen of the gear bike folks that on the upslope, even on a little upslope, they have to do too much pedaling. Okay, so I used to laugh at them, and I said, okay, what's the fun then? You just keep pedaling, and you just move a few meters maybe. So I used to feel it very funny. But then I realized that I think the gears are very much needed when you climb ghats. So Pasarni gave me that kind of injection. Okay. So ऐसा करते करते मैं पहुंच गया. And then, of course, between Panchgani and Mahabaleshwar, it was a breeze, because by the time I had probably developed more stamina and strength in my muscles. So I went up to Mahabaleshwar, etc. After that, there were a couple of other occasions also when I went. But now let me straightway come back to where we are on time. I have taken about probably 30 minutes maybe. Okay. So let me now start the story of gear bikes. Okay. So Pasarani guards, they gave me this injection that, look man, if you want to go beyond 100 kilometers in a day and guards and such crazy weathers like that first Mahabaleshwar trip on Hero Hawk was in torrential rains, and especially on the way back it was very strong rain, and visibility was very poor, and that was a great enjoyment as well. But then I realized the dangers of going on rainy tracks, and Hero Hawk is a very thin tire. It's like it's almost close to your roadie bikes. Okay. So roadie bikes on rainy tracks and very bad roads. In those days, the Pasani Ghats road, of course, was not as good, and it was rainy season as well. So there were some times when, especially on the turns, I was, with my gusto and enthusiasm, I was, sloping down very fast. And there were a couple of times when probably I was just saved off a fall. And I realized that I think I need all the gear, etc. So when I was back, I decided that soon I should go for a gear bike. So I went to the shop a little after that, maybe 4 or 5 months after that ride. And but then I got a shock of my life that nothing is under 10,000 rupees. Minimum for a gear bike. I'm saying this in year 2015 perhaps. So nothing was less than 12,000 rupees. सो ऐसा घबराया हुआ मैं फिर से गया 4 दिन के बाद 10-11 हज़ार रुपया लेके गया, और वो फड़के हाउस पे मैं बोला कि भैया मेरे पास ये 10-11 हज़ार रुपया का कैश है, इसके आगे मैं कुछ नहीं दे सकता हूँ. तो उन्होंने एक स्नेल साइकिल मुझे दिखाया कि जिसका प्राइस तभी कुछ 13,000 रुपया था, बट ही गेव मी सम 1,000-2,000 रुपीज डिस्काउंट, एडेड सम वैल्यू टू इट. ऐसा करते करते वो 12,000 रुपया में मैं वो स्नेल विद एक्सेसरीज एक्सेट्रा वो ले लिया. Now when the Schnell was there, I just rode it in Pune etc. गियर्स का तो मुझे वैसा जानकारी था, लेकिन इतना आदत नहीं था. वो जो यूके में थोड़ा चलाया हुआ था, उसके बाद आदत नहीं था. तो वो Schnell में भगाया पुणे में बहुत, and right in probably within a week's time, I decided to straightway go to Konkan. So again in torrential rains, because I love rains, otherwise I sweat a lot. I realized one thing, ये स्वेट जो है ना, ये बड़ा एनर्जी सैप करता है. तो बारिश में फ़ायदा क्या होता है, बारिश में एक्चुअली यू गेट अ लॉट ऑफ मड मक एंड एवरीथिंग, बट बारिश का एक बड़ा फ़ायदा ये है कि इट कीप्स योर बॉडी कूल. सो आई फील लाइक द स्किन इज आवर बिगेस्ट रेडिएटर, ओके, एंड इट रियली रेडिएट्स हीट. सो इन टॉरेंशियल रेन्स, ओके, आई जस्ट पुट a normal raincoat and this kind of a cotton this thing, a very loose one. Normally this is tight, but I normally wear very loose clothes, and that was very comfortable. So I'm very fine in rain rides. So on that Schnell, okay, free motion to be precise, when I bought that, friends, वो ज्योमेट्री क्या रहता है, खुद का ज्योमेट्री क्या है, बाइक का ज्योमेट्री क्या होना चाहिए, ये वो मैं कुछ देखा नहीं, मैं उसका स्टडी भी कभी नहीं किया था. ऐसे ही जाके ये मिल रहा है, उसके नीचे कुछ था ही नहीं, तो मैंने ले लिया. ओके, इट वाज एज सिंपल एज दैट. सो आई टुक इट. नाउ दिस टाइम आई बॉट अ पंप, ओके, एंड देयर वाज नो स्पेयर ट्यूब, एंड there was no puncture kit as well. Okay, I just kept a plier with me, I just kept a screwdriver with me, and I just kept an air pump. तो ऐसा करते करते पुणे से मानगांव गया, from by crossing by crossing our Tamini Ghats. Okay, and then I stayed in Mangaon, and next day morning I went ahead to Srivardhan. Okay, now that was one heck of a ride, absolutely. That was my very rough experience. Again, torrential rains. The roads of Konkan, the road between Mangaon and Srivardhan, at times was very, very bad. Okay, luckily there was no puncture. Luckily, okay, there was only one puncture, okay, but which was probably small. So I kept on pumping, and that happened towards the end of the story when I was very close to Divyagar. Okay, so I managed to rectify that in Divyagar with some help again there. And then return ride. So return ride was in one day. So all this ride I did between Friday Friday evening till Monday morning. And lot of people ask me questions, or have asked earlier also. So let me share that. What do I eat in all these rides? What do I carry with me? Am I carrying a lot of panniers, or okay, I am not organized as much even today. So if this ride, first long ride of 390 kilometers from Pune to Divyagar, Srivardhan and back within 2.5 days. Friday afternoon I started 12 o'clock, and Sunday night late 12:30 I came back. But that last day was a very big ride. That was my first ride wherein I clocked more than 170-80 kilometers. It was one way from Srivardhan till Pune. It must have been about 185-190 kilometers. And so many ghats, okay, so many bad patches. I had hell of a lot of problems in Tamini on the way back. Okay, it punctured at 7 o'clock at night. After climbing up half of Tamini, I was very close to Tamini Gaon, and it punctured. Luckily, puncture was small, so I kept on pumping air, and again Pauncha Tamini Gaon, and then those people helped me, and thus I completed the rest of the ride. So in this ride, I learned three things. One is one must carry some bare minimum things such as puncture kit and stuff like that. One extra pair of clothes I was carrying, but I thought if it was a 3-4 days ride, I must have one more pair, and some dry stuff, so some dry food stuff which I was not carrying. Okay, because there are patches when you don't get anything, it's raining, and it's tough. Okay. What lights I used that time? Yes, I had a tail lamp. Okay, and I had bought a front blinker also. The front lamp which you normally put it up here, the same, whatever Chinese ones you get. But then soon after that ride, I did one more ride, and in our very bad roads, it all fell down from the handle, and I decided to let go for that. Okay, let me slightly go ahead on the long distance rides. So the long distance rides, that was the beginning, and then I started realizing that somehow this bike, that bike was anyway short. It wasn't XL. Okay, it was a little lower size than the maximum size, that free motion I'm talking about. And one of my friends, pretty knowledgeable, Swanand Apte, he observed me that I was using that bike, and he says, "Come on, Anand, I think you're very enthusiastic, but that's not the one for you." And then he educated me that for this your height, you should check this and check that and this and that, and then he suggested me some models. Okay, which of course the new bikes are very expensive. But luckily, in his network, there was a Scott bike. Scott, it was not a roadie. It was a hybrid bike. It was the tallest, that means the XL size. And so I got that used bike, but it was a very well maintained bike. Oh, wow. So I bought that Scott, okay, used bike. And that's where I realized that, yes, there is something called bike geometry which has to match your shape, size, etc. That's a very tall bike, 28-inch tire size, and I obviously raised the handle, I raised the seat, etc. Now let me talk on a few other things which people keep asking me. Number one, why do I wear that safety helmet style helmet? Okay, in most of my photos, or those who have seen me in Pune, they wonder, why do I not wear the cyclist helmet? There is a long story, but in the nick of time here, I would just say that when I was not wearing a helmet, in one of those city rides, before the Scott bike I'm saying, on the Schnell rides, I had gone once to Theur, and on the Solapur road, suddenly that day, I don't know what, it was a Sunday and there was a lot of truck traffic post afternoon. I started late, and one truck zipped past very fast. It went very close. Although I was on the left, वो बहुत जोर से निकल गया, and that's where I realized that, oh, it's dangerous. I'm just wearing a cap, and I immediately stopped just a little ahead. I was a little before that. No, I was a little after the racecourse, where there are some shops, selling helmets, etc. I had just a few bucks in my pocket, just about $400, $300-400, and there was a half helmet, small helmet, which they gave me, which looked like a safety helmet. I bought it for about 250 rupees. Okay, 350 he gave me for 250. So that helmet had that kind of a background, so I kept using that. Plus that I bought in rainy season, and I found that in rains it's very useful because the rain doesn't go inside. But in summer season, it's tough to wear that. But at the same time, I find it more safe. I find it safer than the normal cycle helmet for whatever reasons. Maybe cycle helmet, whatever. I bought it later. I use it here in Rajasthan, but it doesn't pop out as much, and I don't think it covers the ears, okay, as much. On the other things, I started using a torch, a normal ever-ready torch. Okay, मेरा भारत महान है और हमारा ही सब use करना चाहिए. So let go with Chinese stuff, especially now we know. So I bought that 150 rupees worth of the torch, and I started attaching that here. Okay, so you have the helmet, either the cyclist helmet or whatever helmet. You always have that, the cord here. So after you wear that, if this is your battery, so just I push it inside and I tie it with my handkerchief. So quite a jugaad. But I realized that that's the most useful torch, the most useful headlamp, rather than putting it here. Okay, because with that I am able to, when it's like this, when I move my neck, it's put up there, and especially when there are the wrong siders who come from the wrong side right on you, so you can just wave your neck and your light moves, and you are able to, and I found it's useful. Okay, people, at least I would say 60% of the vehicles would like to go a little bit here and there, if not directly bang on you. So I started wearing that light, thinking that there are so many cyclist accidents and cyclists should wear the lights. The cycle having the light, and when you fall off in an accident, the bike will go somewhere else, you fall somewhere else, and where you fall, people should find you out. And that's where I started wearing that. So let me come to the Scott experience. So the Scott bike, when I bought Scott, after that the first ride I did, which was from Pune to Mumbai, that was with a small group. That was, say, about 60 kilometers, Pune to Shivaji Park in a day. But later on, I started doing a lot of long distance rides myself. So a few months after that, I did this in 2017. Where I got this gift, Pune to Nasik ride. And but at that time, the Pune to Nasik road was very, very bad. It was really pathetic. And some people, some of my friends who came to know about that ride, they were just wondering that they even feared going on that road in their four-wheeler, and forget even a motorcycle, because the road was under construction. Now, of course, the road after Alifata is slightly better, but that time it was under construction and it was very bad. But come 2016 and 17, okay, there was a time when my son was doing masters in Gwalior. So we had our family home in Gwalior. So I was hopping between Pune and Mumbai, because Pune, Mumbai for work, I had an assignment that time. between mid of 2015 to mid of 2017, I'm saying. So I used to hop to Gwalior. So what I did was the Schnell bike, I transported in train to Gwalior and in and around Gwalior, including the most famous Sholay type, the area there. I'm sorry, I'm sometimes forgetting the names of places. Chambal, okay. The edge of Gwalior where we stayed, it's actually pretty near to Chambal. Okay, Chambal is about just about 60, 70 kilometers or maybe 80 kilometers from there. And there are 8th century temples. Okay, so while in Gwalior, I was doing these rides, and that was one heck of a ride from my place in Gwalior till that 8th century giant temples in Chambal, which were in the control of dacoits till 2016, and then only I think they were able to conquer the dacoits. The last dacoit was killed, and then the archaeological Department of India, they took possession of that, etc. Okay, so that's where I had the out of Maharashtra experience during my Gwalior stay. Stay means I used to just stay at a stretch for about just 3-4 days over a longer weekend, or just maybe once in Diwali, say about 5-6 days at a stretch. So it was happening when in Pune I used to go around Maharashtra. Most of the ghats in Maharashtra I had gone, but the beginning of 2018 changed because my son, he secured admission as a PhD research fellow in Pilani, BITS Pilani, Rajasthan. That's where I am right now. So because of him, we shifted the place here, and then I shifted my the Scott bike here, and that was where I began going to the North Indian rides. Okay, so let me now share more on the North Indian rides. So from BITS Pilani to a lot of places within Rajasthan, and say outside of Rajasthan, say once I went to Delhi in a day, 200 kilometers to 230 to 40 kilometers precisely from my place. One day Delhi, then 2 days Chandigarh I did. I had actually wanted to go to Shimla, but time didn't permit, and then I went ahead to, I just stopped at Chandigarh. So I did those rides, and I was familiar with the roads in North India. Oh, friends, here I would just like to wave again, and can somebody just post if I am visible and audible, because it shows live here, but if Satej or somebody can just post a message that yes, I am visible, that will let me know that you're able to see me. Okay, I presume so. Okay, all right. So, that's where I was very used to the highways, and the highways are definitely better than what I would have seen in Maharashtra. At least where the construction has been completed. Of course, there are some under construction patches. Okay. Now let me share more experiences and my feedback about what do I carry, how do I sleep, okay, and what do I do all this for, and if I'm doing so much long distance rides. To give you a perspective, in last 2 years after coming to Rajasthan, the North Indian rides, the longest rides, of course, I mean, right here in our group, right here, there are people like Pratibha Dhakane and others maybe too. I may not have observed so many people joining up, but there are K2K queens from Pune, 4 of them who have done 4,000 kilometer cycling. So compared to that, my kilometers have been less in one particular go, okay, because I aimed at certain destinations and not kilometers. And the whole purpose of my cycling has been to just enjoy cycling, and see nature, be close to nature, improve the stamina, improve the self-confidence of doing longer ride, and do it most cost effectively, and to inspire people. Since last 2-3 years, I started posting more on Facebook. I started creating YouTube clips of my rides. That means not video shooting, but whatever snaps I would have clipped, I'll just sip water. Whatever snaps I would have done, I would do the YouTube clips of that and post it to inspire people. I started writing articles after I did this Nasik ride, and I wrote one article called "Joy of Cycling for All." So I thought that people of all age groups, in terms of their own health and happiness, they should do cycling. Okay. So the very purpose of my cycling has been to, of course, go more distances as much as I could. I slowly jacked up the stamina, okay, but not doing any Excel sheet planning for that. I always, I'm against that, okay. Even now, when let's say I decided to go to Leh, and that too on a Schnell bike. That was last year, and I started on Schnell, but yes, I had a spare tube with me, a puncture kit, and a few more tools with me, etc., because of my previous experience. And I took up, the warm clothes, whatever was most needed, some dry stuff. Now, for 6 days, 5 nights and 6 days from here till Manali. Pilani to Manali is about close to 700 kilometers, 660 to about 680 kilometers. Till Manali town center, it could be 680, 700. So I did that ride, and I decided that I should do it most cost effectively, because I should be able to suggest more people to do this as a passion. Okay. So I was just very careful where I eat. I ate at dhabas. There are 24/7 trucker dhabas. तो वहाँ मैं खाना खाता था, and sometimes do a little bit rest. At night, 3 times I stayed in dhabas. That means there is a charpaiya, and I just went there 11:30, had some food, requested them that, look, I am coming from Rajasthan, want to go to Himachal, and can I just lie down for 3-4 hours? So, oh, fine. Most of them were happy to share one of their charpaiyas. So for you, I couldn't sleep, but you just lie down there. Why I couldn't sleep? Because typically I have seen that doing a full day ride, maybe it's my problem, that you are so energized and you're so alert, your brain is so alert that you can't fall asleep, and all the time you're hearing all the noises in the subconscious and in the conscious also, because I used to just lie down at the dhabas, charpaiyas, and they are next to the highways, maybe just 50 meters off the highways, and you have all the noise of trucks and everything passing by. But well, I said, okay, if I want to do Bharat Darshan, this is where I need to get tuned to. And then I stayed twice at the Gurudwaras as well. I love to hear kirtans. That way I'm actually, I like to follow the teachings of all saints all over India. And Gurudwaras are really heavens of peace. And so that was a good experience. At some Gurudwaras, they have some places which they give to devotees to stay overnight. And mostly they don't charge, or they may just ask for a deposit of 100 rupees and they return you back that 100 rupees, etc. But the point is that I was able to, in that BITS Pilani to Manali, I was able to manage, okay, all my trip for daily expense of bare minimum food. That means you have a breakfast for about close to 100 rupees. 150 rupees, you have a lunch or a brunch, whatever. I never ate at a time. Sometimes fearing, and I don't eat any non-veg, I don't eat any spicy chili. So many times fearing the North Indian dhaba food as hot food, where I suspected they can't give me without chili. I used to just tell them to give me, the cucumber and kind of green salad what you get, and then rotis and lassi. You get lassi everywhere. Chas or lassi you get everywhere. Milk you get everywhere. So many times my lunch or dinner was just bananas. Sometimes whatever seasonal fruits you can buy across the villages you're going, and that's it. Okay, and I ate fruits, drank a lot of water. In that BITS Pilani to Manali trip, I realized that keeping a sachet, at least one sachet per day of your electral is essential for cramps, because that whole trip of Pilani to Manali, right till Kulu, it was in 44 to 46 degrees in summer heat, and I used to get exhausted. So after that trip, I made it as a rule that in summer when I go, I would carry 2 sachets of electral with me, and between 12 noon till 6 p.m., between 11:30 to 6 p.m., I would drink minimum 2 bottles, 1 bottle each with a sachet. So वो 2 bottle पीने का. Apart from that also, you should drink normal water, because electral का क्या problem होता है? It gives you salts and whatever is needed, but actually you should have let's say typically after 1 or 2 sips of electral, you should also have little water also. Okay, so I used to alternate between the two, and I found that as good tip. Okay, it could be tip for you all if you are not following that, and that prevents cramps. So the cramp is something which is a big enemy. There are 2 enemies for a long distance cyclist. One is cramp, which is to your physique. Another is if you have a back pain, if you have a very stiff muscle somewhere, then it's a problem. Or if you have a puncture. Okay, these are the most enthusiasm sappers. So at least for food, avoid all chili, avoid all masala, don't have any oil, and I rarely had any problems of either vomiting or any gastric problems. Okay, never. Only once I had, because I probably had one soda drink, something like Limca or something. I normally avoid soda, but that day I don't know what, I was little tired, and I thought, oh come on, let's have a Limca. तो Limca लेने के बाद पता नहीं क्या हो गया, but थोड़ा सा system or maybe something else problem would have been there, but वो problem हो गया. So another thing what I would like to suggest is carrying your clothes and in panniers and nicely organized things on your bike is very good, but carry as less as you can, best. Okay, one of my friends told me that he just carries one spare and one spare set of clothes, and then he would just alternate between that, and that's about it. Okay, that's best. And carry as little weight of course as you can. There are times when that amount of weight, minimum weight, because 2 liters of water is 2 kg plus your clothes and plus some additional tools, plus your pump, etc. And I carry that big pump. Okay, the very strong pump, what we have is what I carry. So I think, I had planned to finish within 40-45 minutes, but I kept talking to you all. And maybe if you have already posted in comments a few questions or something where I would like to more insights. Maybe if not now, I'm not so good in going through a lot of messages at a time. But in summary, what I would like to say, you can keep posting messages. I'll answer them offline later, or you can call me later also. But let me summarize this before we all close this. Okay. Why do I cycle? Let me give you my personal perspective in that summary. I never aimed at any competition, neither competitive cycling. I didn't want to go in races. I am actually inspired for races, but I held back myself because ये रेसिंग में क्या है, अपना जो भी मैं इंडिया में जहाँ कहीं भी गया, महाराष्ट्र में गया, बाहर गया, रोड कंडीशंस आर नॉट सो गुड. And I realized that if I fall down, if something goes wrong at this age of, let's say, 55 that I am now, then my dream of roaming across all the villages in India, and that's going to be taking a long time, will be very tough. And that too, I want to finish before I turn 60, because who knows what happens to your joints, what happens to your knee problems, etc. So there's very little time. So I thought that racing, etc., I should not get into. BRMs, they are nice time trials, but for some reasons, you are inspired to go faster, complete so many kilometers in certain amount of time, which I restrain myself. And I think my perspective of cycling has been not just cycling kilometers, but going with nature and going with I would say exploring new destinations across different seasons, meeting people. I think the number of people I would have met has been enormous, and it gave a lot of joy. I think it's unmatched. Some people you could never meet, you can meet while you are in cycling in a slow pace mode, slower compared to mobiles, slower compared to cars, because you have more halts. You get mixed with local cultures, you go across villages, and you see some nature which you cannot see at a faster pace. Okay, so that's my perspective. I would suggest that those who are competitive, they should go competitive, but be careful about the Indian roads while you are doing that. But for those, I would say, normal folklore who don't want to be competitive, you can certainly enjoy the joy of cycling across whatever territories that you choose. Just carry some dry foodstuff with you, and normally you wouldn't be in a very, very remote area. You have a lot of food joints here and there. Carry at least 2 liters of water with you. And I have now trained myself to even drink the local dhaba water. I no longer buy any Bisleri water, because I found that the water which you buy, which is having a local taste. So why should I pay 20 liters, to a bottle? And I think my immunity has gone up. Okay, and the mosquitoes which would have bit me at the nights at dhabas has probably again given me a boost of some immunity. Okay, so let some mosquitoes to bite you, and maybe some fevers will give you some more immunity. Okay, all right. So I think it's already one hour plus, and I'm not sure whether I touched upon all the things what you would be expecting. I would love you send me messages to a few more points which you want me to elaborate on. And I would create YouTube, chats or links and post you on your videos. I have a YouTube channel. It's not as organized, but some of you might have gone through some links. If you want to know where it is, of course, it's packed with too many other things as well, as some of my audio books, audio Gita, audio Gitai, audio Gnaneshwari and stuff like that. But there are cycling videos there, many of them, and I would post links to you. I am some friends call me CycleAnand, so I have named that channel as CycleAnand now. Okay, so I would definitely create more content. Since last 6-7 years, I have been working in e-learning in the content development area. So I am also a content developer, and I am learning to create video content. You post your areas of needs. I would create content and post it for all. Excellent. So friends, I think I am also getting a little fire back from my dear Wi-Fi here. I am obstructing her time of 7 o'clock Mahabharat. तो अगर ये अभी स्टॉप नहीं मैं किया तो बड़ा महाभारत 8 बजे के बाद होगा इधर, और मुझे दुर्योधन बनाया जाएगा. So can we conclude here? Satej, can we conclude this session here? Okay, friends. So thanks all for viewing this session, and thanks for patiently watching my face for so long. This was my first long session. Normally, I do it along with, you have some laptop slides and some videos and stuff like that. Okay. Thanks, Satej, and thanks Cycling Awareness Pune for creating this opportunity. It has been excellent. And with my two models, have a nice evening. Have a nice Mahabharat on your televisions or whatever serials you want to see, and post me messages, and see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Thank you. So I close here.